Oh man. Hey,
This time for real?
it's time for real, I think. Yeah. So yeah, seeing the double countdown that's kind of disingenuous, and I apologize. But yeah, we're testing out the live right now. I'm realizing now that if you're watching on YouTube, because we are live streaming this podcast, it's another fantasy football show presented by Sports Injury Central. I'm Justin with Tyler and Jacob, and we're gonna get into some fantasy football.
Tyler.
Oh yeah, no. So your name's Tyler today.
Yeah, it's your other podcast.
Yeah, no, you're right. You guys switch your names up. No, it's Taylor and Jacob. That's my bad.
Podcast hosts.
Sorry, I'm distracted looking at our YouTube right now. So I'm checking in on our YouTube channel. I got to change.
We understand.
Yeah, it's the first time going actual live across all platforms right now. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and we'll be over on the TikTok in a little bit.
Anywhere the internet is, pretty much.
Yeah, wherever you can access the internet. So I think that's
nowadays pretty much everywhere, right?
Most places, yeah.
Outside your neighbor's house, yeah. Anywhere you want to catch on that free Wi-Fi, go listen to us.
That would be actually.
I've done it a couple times. Yeah.
No, I mean you got to. You have to. You definitely have to. So while I'm changing the title of the YouTube channel live, so we're ready. Just before, you guys can just talk amongst yourselves. How's that?
I got you. I got a trivia question for you.
No, don't do that.
I already spoiled it with Taylor, but went to fill up some balloons for a birthday yesterday. Filled them with helium.
Oh boy!
Guess how much it cost per balloon?
Stop. We're running out of helium right now.
That's good.
Over under $7.5.
Good information. Good information on this question. That's the key.
Over
part.
under $7.5.
It's over.
Yep.
It's over.
$10 a balloon.
A balloon?
$10 per balloon.
No.
Yeah. You might as well just do what I did at my daughter's birthday party. I also ran into that problem. I had about 17 to 18 balloons, so I wasn't doing that. So I just cheaper way is to not just to fill them up with air and let them sit on the table. Letting them float in the air.
Tape them to the roof or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like the episode of The Office where Dwight's blowing up the balloons and he half-heartedly blows them up and just flops them on the table.
I spelled her name out of it because I was just like, I can't spend, like you said, $10 per balloon.
It's prohibitively expensive. It's way too much.
It's like part of the food spread, and there's like a couple of balloons
just brush away the balloons. You can get your finger foods.
Yeah, that's the only way I could do it.
Okay, so for the sake of the actual podcast, let's do this all over again because we're recording this live right now, and if anybody's watching it, thank you, we appreciate you. Feel free to drop a comment, and we'll try to find it somewhere over one of these platforms. But I'm going to run the intro for the sake of the actual podcast and editing later. This is the meat and potatoes of the process. So we're just going to restart the podcast with the intro. So you guys all on board with this, right? We're good?
Do it.
All right, let's do this. So now we just sit here, right? That's it.
Like all the nerves I had are now gone. So.
Yeah. We're just hanging out. So yeah, this is everybody who's listening to this on the actual podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. We've been live for a few minutes now. We've been actually every Wednesday we record this podcast, and we're live on our YouTube channel, Sports Injury Central, on our Twitter, SIC Score, and our Facebook page even. Facebook's still a thing from what they tell me, and we still have a page over there. So we're also on that.
Meta, right? Meta.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's the hot thing from
Sure. Yeah.
It's new. It's different, but
as long as Twitter's still running, I'm good.
Yeah, no, we're good.
I have it's VR set, so it says Meta on there. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Aside from VR, like the AR glasses though,
yeah.
That's the future. I'm ready for that. Okay. But that's an unrelated thing. But this is another fantasy football show presented by Sports Injury Central. SICScore.com. Get all our latest injury analysis, and we got a lot of great stuff going on over there. A lot of free content that can win you weeks in DFS and fantasy, and we are the people that they've assigned to do the fantasy football stuff because we love it, and this is what we do every week. So we're super excited to be on here and talking the latest injuries. We'll have our injury rundown here in a moment, but we have dudes and duds from week 13, and we're looking forward to the last, and in most leagues, the last regular season week before playoffs, and it's going to get really spicy. But let's get to the injury rundown, and let's just see what we got to deal with this week.
Oh, it's crunch time. There's a bunch of injury situations to monitor. Obviously,
weeks, yeah.
The biggest news is Lamar Jackson out a couple weeks with the PCL sprain. Landed hard on the turf on that sack with his knee flex. So Pro Football Docs expect a 2-week absence. Hopefully that plops him right back in the middle of the playoffs, but you hope that he's 100% at that point, which may not be a guarantee depending on how his practice pattern is week 16 and beyond. Kenneth Walker, kind of an interesting one. Pete Carroll's always confusing to deal with injury info on. He said he jammed his ankle. Looked like he had pulled the left groin on the first run and was only used twice beyond that. So we'll see what he's listed on the injury report with. But the ankle is obviously the biggest concern right now. And also that running back room we'll get to a little later. It's kind of a mess with DJ Dallas and Travis Homer also dealing with ailments. Jalen Waddle left last week with a leg, came back, one catch, didn't really do much. Tyreek Hill, obviously the top dog in that offense, but usually him and Waddle both feast. Tough matchup against the Niners, but you just hope he's able to be active this week. If not, hopefully they rest him a week for the fantasy playoffs. Courtland Sutton, another interesting injury situation to monitor going in this week. He played last week, was ill, pulled a hamstring. Jerry Jeudy was back for the first week, sat a little bit late with the ankle, missed a couple offensive series, so not a lot of health going into the matchup.
Anybody started Courtland Sutton last week, you're wondering, he said he played. You just said he played, and everyone's like, no, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Because if you started him, he didn't.
He's not going to play this week either. They already, Hackett already said it's going to be there's a long chance for him to play. So Judy's going to be a little better. You should fire him up because back in a couple weeks, you were firing up Kendall Hinton. So now at least you got someone that will
might be firing up Kendall Hinton again. Why not?
Yeah, definitely for some like DFS or some if you need a little flex spot, then Hinton will definitely get some targets because you keep on hyping up Virgil, and I don't want that. So
Hinton knows the offense more. He's he's been there 3-4 years, something like that.
Sure.
So he has been involved. He knows it enough to run quarterback one game. So,
but probably an offense to avoid in general. So I wouldn't even listen to any of this. But
wait, avoid the Broncos? Nah, man, I can't.
No, I've been riding Broncos stack all year.
Yeah. Wait till you hear what I'm doing with the Rams. We'll get to that a little bit later. But
or we won't.
Or we won't. Yeah, I don't know. We want to do that to people.
Deontay Foreman, a little bit interesting one. Carolina had to bye last week. He comes back and he's missing practice with a foot injury. So we'll get more details on that. You can check.
He said he's 95% chance of playing. I don't know where he came up with that number. That's a solid number.
That's very high.
I like
you don't miss practice Wednesday if you're like 95% of playing. I put him at least 80%. But you can follow at sixscore.com. We'll have more updates about him. Like to gather all the info before we make a projection like that. Trevor Lawrence escaped serious knee injury late in that game, came back after halftime. Now he's dealing with the foot, so that's kind of interesting. Definitely had his foot trapped on that. We'll see if he plays or if it's CJ Beathard.
Well, Doug Peterson said there is worry for his status this week. Maybe that's just words that he's saying because I wouldn't want to put CJ out there. But they don't need any wins. And the less wins they have, the more chance that they get a better draft pick. So there is a chance that why not sit Lawrence? There's no reason to make it worse than it is, right?
They get the Titans, so if there's any week for him to miss, in Tennessee is the week for him to miss.
It's a very physical defense.
Yeah. If
you're a little bit hampered, that's not a defense you want to be facing.
Let's see here. Ryan Tannehill, not exactly fantasy relevant, but good for that offense. Speaking of the Titans, he had the other ankle sprain. High ankle sprain is left. Previously was the right, so he LP'd today. Maybe he can go this week. It's going to be an interesting one to see, but obviously Derrick Henry's still Derrick Henry.
Right, but I would say Derrick Henry with Ryan Tannehill as opposed to Derrick Henry with Malik Willis.
We
you definitely want Tannehill.
Weeks, so no, you do not want that.
Yeah.
He looks very rookie-ish in all the handoffs and just overall preparedness for the offense, all that stuff.
Or stepping on him.
Yeah.
The one thing that did, there was games where Willis was playing that Henry's good because when he brings all the defenders to the outside and draws the linebackers to have to defend his rushes, it does open the middle of the field for Henry. So there is some good for the future for the Titans because their Tannehill will not be there for much longer.
Right.
So having Malik there, knowing that that's a factor, they will be able to draw more plays for him. But right now, this is the one thing about Malik Willis. He wasn't polished at all. Like even Lamar wasn't when he first came out of Louisville. There's some issues that these kind of mobile quarterbacks, they still need to run the offense. They're so dynamic. A lot of the playbook stuff, they can go off script, right? But for him, he still needs to learn how to just give it off to the best player on the team, and that was an issue when he was out there.
He just looks nervous in the pocket too. I mean, you can't blame him. It's your first couple NFL starts, so dealing with the pass rush and all the protections and calling everything, it's not easy.
No, but it's fantasy football though. It's fantasy football. You definitely blame him. I blame him.
You can't have happy feet and then be stepping on Derrick Henry. All right?
We throw that stuff out the window and it's his fault.
Yes, fantasy football. Yeah.
Last one on the injury roundup. Chase Claypool with the MCL sprain last week came back, had 2 catches for -5, so probably shouldn't have come back. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not an expert, but they get a bye this week. Hopefully he'll be good after. We'll see how that matches up in as far as fantasy matchups and who you're sitting them over and stuff like that, because MCL is important for cutting.
He's slightly relevant now, like a point that he's definitely a flex question when we're going into the playoffs now. But like
especially
you
if
said,
Fields is still playing down the stretch.
yeah. But if he has to play with a brace or he just took the brace off right before the game, I would argue against starting him at all. And this is they're on a bye anyways, so they're not even going to play him anyways. But this is something for like in the future when you're going, like Justin said, playoffs are starting soon. So if you want a guy that he's gonna get guaranteed 92 to 94% snap route running on that team. There's nobody else there, and he has talent. That, like we talked about, that trade was a dynastic trade. That was a trade to like help the wide receiver
link them
core
together.
in the future. Yeah, because like let's get a little 3 or 4 games of them now. Like, okay, Claypool and him, he's a big body receiver. He will be helpful, but like you said, I would avoid him going into the playoffs.
And I know that in the leftovers I can see on the rundown, we'll get a little deeper into the Seattle Seahawks running back situation. But I know that the waivers have ran at this point in your week, at least in most leagues. I don't know what you're doing if your waivers are running on
Thursday waiver. I don't think that exists.
It's
might be
an
weird.
odd move. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Kenneth Walker. We don't know what's going on. Obviously, stay tuned to 6score.com to get a little more information on this, but I'm just trying to figure out what the move is. Is this something you just completely avoid? Like, I mean, did anybody get any waivers? Like, who are some people you were targeting? Like, obviously, there are a lot of players, but again, they're all kind of dealing with something.
Well, that running back room is weird because there's not a pure runner after Walker. Like, once you have Penny and Walker out, like, Homer is a very good pass-catching running back. So, yes, for PPR's sake, Homer would be a decent guy to have, and especially he's been on that offense for a while, so he knows the offense really well. DJ Dallas is also a decent pass catcher. Homer is better than him, but Dallas is actually very good at pass pro. So he's very good at pass protecting, helping Geno Smith, do the rollouts and stuff. So that's why Dallas will be out there. Tony Jones he's not good. He showed it even when he was out there. He had 6 carries for 12, but it's not what he shouldn't be getting 6 carries any game. He didn't get. I don't think he got that many when he's got the Saints.
There's a reason he couldn't jump Mark Ingram on the depth chart. And Mark Ingram was 30 something, whatever. He's veteran back, so Tony Jones can't scratch his playing time. That's not a good sign.
What you're seeing is that he's not able to jump people that are on the team for a long period. I know Ingram left the team for a while, but he actually knows the Saints system very well. Dennis Allen didn't change the offense too much when Peyton left, so these, like, Homer and Dallas have both been on the team for 2+ years. So they're able to, even if they know their roles. So, but the one thing that is missing that we just talked about, there's no pure runner in the middle. So that's, we do think Geno might run a little bit, but they didn't look like they were designing runs much, but they might have to now because they're going to get beat. You're not going to be able to run inside with this team. Like, Homer might play. I think out of all the guys we mentioned, he LP'd today. Everybody else DNP'd. So he might have a better chance because he did miss last week. But, that's a running back room to avoid. Maybe PPR you do Homer, but there's not a pure guy that's getting 16 to 20 carries and getting like a Deion Jackson that the Colts had. Remember when Taylor was out? There's no plug and play for like the Colts offense that was running 30 times a game. Jackson can fill in. Lindsey was a little bit fill in. I don't think Seahawks have anything like that.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see how that plays out this weekend. That's going to be something that
they're playing Carolina. That's the only reason you're looking at it.
Right, and if you had,
Beyond
I guess if you
hopefully
had a
Kenneth Walker's
roster
back.
spot, and one of these is available, I guess you just grab one and just see, right? Like, just leave them on your bench and see what happens.
It's a healthy defense, Carolina defense. I'm not saying they're great, but I mean, Chin's back the last couple games. I mean, Brown, Burns is questionable. There might be an issue, but they have.
Seems like an under game too.
Yeah, it seems like a linebacker core and like team that's healthy enough that even though they're not great, they should be able to stop whoever Seattle runs out there.
Yeah, no, I am so excited to watch this football game this weekend.
You're the Charlotte Observer. The Charlotte Observer.
I've seen too many Panthers games.
The worst superhero, the Charlotte Observer.
Jesus. All right, let's get into the dudes and duds. We'll do that before we get into the Week 14 look aheads. But we'll go to dudes and duds. And I guess there's really no explanation, right? I'll just run the intro, and we'll.
It's dudes and their duds.
Dudes and duds.
You can tell by how you said it, like how you're supposed to feel about them.
Right, it's dudes, and then there's duds, right? They're just there, right? That's the duds. So
does everybody know that's your voice, by the way? Like,
no one knows. No one knows.
Oh, we just pulled the curtain.
You took
don't tell everybody, man.
Cowl off. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, we paid somebody millions of dollars to voice.
Of course,
that, right? That's
high production value.
We're those.
He's like,
no, I didn't see $1 million, but all right, let's get into dudes and duds. We each pick a dude, we each pick a dud, and we either praise them or poo-poo on them. So who wants to praise first?
I'll praise first.
Okay.
This is also like a bias thing because I'm in my Scottfish team. By the way, 3rd round. Very excited about that. It's been a hard tournament. A lot of
no Justin Fields this week, but Davis Mills won his job back.
That's what I have. I have Davis Mills.
The fact that you're excited about that shows where you're at.
You're the one guy.
I've had multiple weeks where
Come on, give us Davis Mills.
I've ran like a one quarterback thing, but like because I have such a like decent running back stable. But I mean, Fields he's the reason why I started off.
He got so many people to playoffs.
Yeah, so he did have he helped me get to this week, right? That's just that 50-yard touchdown helps a lot, right? Davis Mills. One thing about Scott Fish, you have to have accurate quarterbacks, so that's whatever. But I'm going sidetracked. What I do have on my running back core is Tony Pollard. He had 12 carries, 91, 2 touchdowns. Elliott back, it doesn't really matter. I think he just need to rush him more, but he's doing so much with the lack of rushes that it doesn't really matter. 101 yards from scrimmage this year. All right. That's incredible. Yeah, like he's catching the ball too. Can you excuse me, sorry.
He was somebody that I was looking at to nominate as my dude. And it's mainly because obviously he's been crushing it all year, but I feel like there is that like weird thing where like so is Zeke now. He's back and so is he. So like what are we doing with Tony Pollard?
Touchdown celebration.
Right.
If you saw his touchdown celebration, you would think like, oh, nothing's going on. But like he's getting he's getting snaps too. They're both getting snaps. But
start both.
Yeah. No, honestly, you start both. You're fine.
Yeah.
Like
that's the number one offense is Dak's coming back from his thumb fracture, so you start everybody.
Yeah, don't overthink it. Don't
even
get
Gallup's
cute.
getting usage and yards and all this stuff. So
he's the one that off that ACL, he looks like he's finally starting. Also, Godwin too. Watching him on Monday Night Football, both those guys. If you guys have them in your your fantasy playoff teams, those are two guys that are gonna go do well. But like you said, the Cowboys also are scoring like a crazy clip the last 5 games. I think it's 40+ points, something that hasn't happened in like multiple years, right? So. Ride every Dallas guy, Pollard this year, especially getting him so low because everybody did have that stigma that we also did think Elliott was going to be better this year, which he has been, but Pollard's just been a different level.
He's just so efficient with his touches that his floor is just high every week. As long as he gets 10 touches, which he always does, he's going to explode for some rushing yards, receiving yards. He's such a dual threat.
No, he's very, very efficient in that offense, and he's been helping out a lot of people in the playoffs this year, or will in the playoffs.
All right,
my
Jacob.
dude.
Yeah, dude it up.
Dude is Garrett Wilson. 15 targets, 8 catches for 162 and a touchdown.
Is that good?
With Mike White, he's got 23 total targets from Mike White in the last 2 weeks. Wide receiver 1 last week and wide receiver 10 this week. Sorry, wide receiver 1 2 weeks ago. Flip that. Wide receiver 1 last week, wide receiver 10 2 weeks ago with Mike White. Mike White's just a huge upgrade for that offense in general, even with no running game. Actually, scratch that. Sorry, Bam Knight. You do have a running game with Zonovan Knight, Bam Knight.
Bam Knight is good, guys. Come on.
It might have been Ty Johnson, but he's the pass catching back.
Ty Johnson got some pass catching work for sure. And what's weird about this is I don't know why, but I know too many Jets fans. I don't know what it is. Like my friend group has too many Jets fans.
There's 9 receivers that were better than Wilson this week.
No, he was wide receiver 1 this week.
No, okay. I was like, wait,
over Devontae Adams.
Might have been 2.
That's close. Yeah, that's close.
I know Devontae had 177 and 2 touchdowns. That's already
makes sense.
2 of those stats right there.
The math checks out on that.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, what's weird about the Jets right now is especially as a fan, but especially fantasy football, you can objectively be like, start Mike White. That's the guy. It's such a weird dynamic that Zach Wilson is, you know what I mean? Zach Wilson's the dude, right? That you paid to get the draft capital. Everybody kind of wanted him to be a thing, especially at the beginning of the season, which he wound up getting hurt and coming in late. But the difference between the Jets offense when he plays and when literally anybody else.
It could be anybody else. Like I know Mike White's been doing really well, but Flacco
did
had some
it
games
the first 3 weeks. Yeah.
It's like he's got to be feeling pretty bad.
Well, I was just
Zach
reading
Wilson.
something about him, like not just Zach Wilson in general, but like his draft, like redrafting it. Usually you see like, oh, we drafted Wilson 1 and maybe he should have gone 7 or 8 because he hasn't done this. Like Wilson's the kind of player, if you redo that draft, he's not in the first round no more. Like there's multiple.
He drops completely out of it.
And like I've read enough of those articles that you'll see like, oh, that guy dropped 10 spots. And you're like, all right, that was a bad pick. But you have someone that's like completely, you missed out on that bad. Like I don't.
That's gross.
It's a. I'm about to curse here. I'm sorry. It's a bad move for them though. That's like because it's when you make dynastic decisions like that and you make bad decisions, you're bleeping yourselves for a long time.
Right, but I will say, like, kudos to them for just recognizing it early, right? So a lot of teams would just keep pushing him out, right?
They
would just keep throwing him here,
so we have to play him, yeah.
Well,
damn it, you're going to be good, and you're going to like it. Like, he's not.
A lot of teams have done that.
He looked like they did hit on Breece Hall right now for the short sample size. The thing is, though, statistically, hitting a running back in the first round and then having it for long term doesn't do well.
No.
So like that, and he already
quarterback's the bigger deal.
Has a big injury already. So like Gurley, at least it took a couple. Like, he had the chronic knees, but like it took a little bit. Like you already have Hall missing half the year next year probably. So I mean, it's the same thing you see for like Javonte Williams. You know, like he wasn't as high draft pick, but like when you do draft capital in the first 3 rounds for a running back, it's very, very difficult to like, you know.
So real quick, Mike White is 27 years old. What are they doing in the offseason here, quarterback-wise? Like,
Flacco's on the other end of the spectrum of.
Well, don't forget about Flacco. Like, I don't know. He's probably going to get dumped off, but like, are they going to? I mean, they're going to ride out.
It's like Cooper Rush. Like, you've been on that team so long, he's too valuable at least as the backup. So you don't replace him. It's not like you're getting, let me get a really good backup. Let me get like.
It's not all of a sudden Mike White's my future, but you don't cast him.
Well, they're not going to have a good.
They're not going to have somebody's money.
Yeah, they're not going to have a good draft pick, right? They're not going to have a high quarterback draft pick.
They need to reevaluate. No, they're they have 7 wins this year. They're going to have a middle of the round draft pick, if anything. Yeah, and they might even make the playoffs.
Maybe trade up. I don't know.
No, but like you said, that's a free agent move, maybe like like the Rams did, or a trade. Get the Stafford or something, someone that's open. Because right now, like you said, you're not going to be able to probably fill that on the draft. Zach Wilson is probably going to be on the team next year in some capacity. It's going to be like, let him fight for the job in preseason. Then he doesn't get it. Then you figure that out. Because like right now, you don't usually see situations like this fix themselves, and Wilson is ahead in the.
He's going to take the jump. He's going to take the jump in the offseason.
It's very rare that you see that. Like right now, this you don't want to say that it's bad, but like this is like a Baker thing. Like once Baker was kind of like cast off to the side, they like. Either let him come back in and he keeps sucking.
He's not just going to extremely impress you in practice.
Which is what Baker did. Which is what Baker did. You let him back in and he sucks still, or you just say, all right, bye. And
it's a very small window for success.
Zach Wilson on like the what's it called, like the Panthers, and then he.
There's a market for bad quarterbacks though. The Rams are thrilled to have Baker Mayfield. Look at them. They're like, come on in here.
Like I'm like, holy crap! Like this is like a job for people. Like they're excited to be like this role of a quarterback, which is fine. You're in the NFL. Like you're probably loving it.
You're getting paid.
Like,
yeah.
Like I just see the smile I saw on his face. Like it was like he opened like you'll shoot your eye out gun from Christmas Story. Like he was so ecstatic. I'm like, you're not even starting today, probably.
How's he already tired?
What are you talking about? That much? He's starting for the Super Bowl, the reigning Super Bowl champions.
Thursday.
No, I'm saying he's gonna start.
Yeah.
So he can tell people he's starting quarterback of the reigning Super Bowl champion Rams.
Yeah.
You can put that. That's like a resume thing, right?
That's
you put that in your resume.
Twitter bio.
Yeah, you put it in your bio. No one, don't question it, right?
Don't question my Twitter blue in my bio.
Deeper,
right?
Yes. That's gross. All right,
Justin.
My dude is Isaiah Pacheco.
Okay.
Pacheco. I think it's time.
Fantasy winner. He's a fantasy winner, right?
I think it's time for him, right? I think it's his. And I'm scared to say it because it's been really weird.
We were low on him all offseason. Like all fantasy draft season, it's like, why is everyone reaching for him? But
it's finally paying off. It only took 13 weeks.
That's why it's like, why did you reach for him? But
he had the trajectory where he was dropped and then reclaimed again because he was
that happened a couple times.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So 14 carries, 66 yards. Finally scores a touchdown. Two targets, 2 catches, 16 yards. I don't know. That's pretty good for a Chiefs running back. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's you're hoping for consistency.
The ceiling's not high as a Chiefs running back, so he's been efficient with his touches.
The yardage probably won't.
No more.
Yeah. Unless he busts a long one, the yardage probably really won't be there. But you would hope that the starting running back for the Chiefs would fall into the end zone. Granted, he's not like a huge dude, but he runs hard. He's going to have a lot of opportunity, I think, to get a touchdown. But there's so many other running backs on that team. That's what's really tough.
The injury helps too, because like there's no Hilaire. You've seen that Kaepernick. You're seeing that with Jameis. Like sometimes like the injury, you just like it clears opportunity. Yeah, because Pacheco, that was the one thing I had an issue with. It was nothing about him. He's a talented running back. He'll be there for the next couple of years. But it's just like Hilaire's there. They obviously still love McKinnon.
Even McKinnon just like hopping in for a goal line touchdown catch. Like why?
Mahomes is a mobile quarterback. He runs the ball, so like he'll get a rushing touchdown every once in a while. So
Travis Kelce has like 1 billion touchdowns this year. So red zone, he's the target.
Yeah. So it's like you're losing goal. There's no goal line running back touchdowns in the Chiefs normally. Yeah. They'll even throw it to their fullback. They're for fun. It's Sherman. I don't know who they have now. But the thing is, the opportunity is now there for Pacheco, right?
Yeah.
And he's taking advantage. And Hilaire, when he does come back, I don't think he has the job anymore.
No, he
so I
doesn't.
think you have Pacheco.
I
Don't hold on
don't
to
think
him.
he had it. He didn't have it when he was healthy. Like, yeah,
he was hanging on by a thread. Yeah.
You just had that weird thing in your mind that like, oh shoot, is this going to be the game where they try to 1A 1B him? Like, no, now you're having the guaranteed Pacheco games because there's nothing there. But now, like, even when Hilaire comes back, I think you're going to be.
I'm definitely more scared of McKinnon, like rest of the season,
because he ain't going away. He's the receiving back. He's everything. Yeah.
So
he knows the system, like we talked about. The guys that know the system, you should like everybody else. Like, oh, let's get the hot new guy. Rex Burkheads will always get you because they've been there for 4 years and they know how to catch the ball. They know how to pass pro. They know how to run block. They know how to do everything.
Especially mid-season, coaches don't want to reteach a guy the whole offense. Oh, this is what you do on this play. No,
get
the veteran, throw him in.
Coach's wedding might have gone to the coach's wedding, maybe. Like everybody that went to McVay's wedding last year is probably like best friends. Like like nothing wrong. Like anything. Oh, Aaron Donald, you're late for practice. It's cool. You were like my groomsman, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you can't really mess with Aaron Donald because he did Aaron Donald did A, he's incredible, one of the best football players ever, but B, he already did like I might retire, but I'm back. So he's kind of like, so no one cares. Like you can't even like get mad at him for anything because he's like, he shouldn't even be here. Like he's like almost like he's doing you a favor.
Into it,
yeah, he's doing
honestly,
you a favor by showing
that he's
up.
there watching this bad season. Like you made him come back for this. Like it's your fault now, right?
I mean, okay, to be fair, he got paid, but yeah, that's
true. No,
that's nuts.
He's not doing it for free.
Yeah.
All right, Taylor,
cut it up. Sticking with the same team.
Get these duds out.
My dud is Patrick Mahomes. I'm a hater because this is probably the only time you can ever do this. But
might as well take your opportunity, you know?
Yeah, Jacob told me he had like 300 yards straight, like six straight games
over 300 yards.
But I'm just
a lot of touchdowns sprinkled in.
The only thing I'm going to say this is I think things are more amplified going to the playoffs, or like people need wins right now. You're trying to get that final seed in your home.
Quarterback's volatile. That'll lose you a week.
Yeah, I mean 223 yards from Mahomes when you're also the expectation. It's very, very. It's not great. And Scott Fish too. It's not helpful because we do accuracy and stuff like that. 11 passes incomplete is not helpful, especially when you're not doing anything else. The one touchdown is not. He needs more
minimal rushing yard stuff. He's not a dual threat.
You had a minimal game. You had like a little bit above Davis Mills game. You had like not a Kyle Allen game, but like I don't know, Andy Dalton game.
You are a hater. How did you just how do you feel about yourself mentioning those two names like back to back?
No, I just you need to help people win. You got Mahomes who's drafted in the first 2 rounds.
What has he done for me lately?
Yeah, lately like last game. No, but he'll definitely have a better game this week. He has a better matchup, right? Yeah. But like this, I just think like right now,
when he's going against Broncos, so that might be a little worrying.
Yeah,
I don't know anyone who. Well, I mean, you're not sitting Mahomes. He still might torch the Broncos. They don't have.
I just think they'll game plan better. Yeah. Like you don't go after their cornerbacks. Like Kelsey should have a massive game. They have no linebackers there. We're talking about Pacheco. It's just a game plan thing. Broncos are definitely a really good defensive team, but you can get to them in ways if you have a good enough team. And I think that Reed will do that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna knock Patrick Mahomes. I mean, granted, he threw it.
I'm not.
No, I'm saying like if you were ever like you said, this is it. This is probably the lowest it gets for Patrick Mahomes.
No,
right?
yeah. So
and I will say, to back up your argument, I was playing against a dude, and I was up by I don't know how many points, maybe 30 points. I was like 25, I think it was. He had Mahomes and Alvin Kamara this week, and he didn't beat me.
I can't believe no one chose him as a dud.
No, be honest with you guys, Kamara is like another one.
He's like he might be.
I was holding on to him, just being like, should I trade him? Like this is the best his value's ever gonna be, and I'm kicking myself every day that I didn't because it's getting worse. If you get like a middling like running back in a wide receiver back for him, you're still doing better.
Would you rather have Kamara right now or Pacheco?
You know what? I will give Kamara credit because Mark Ingram is now out for the season with an MCL injury, so maybe that helps a little bit. But that offense is it's Olave and that's it.
I'll say I don't want Kamara. They have a bye this week. I was even there's a guy in Scott Fish League. It was kind of funny. He said one of our group chats. He was just like, I have Kamara on a bye next week, and he's like, that hurts me in theory because it's like it should hurt you because you have Kamara out, but it hasn't really hurt him out this year. So it's like no, like. People are definitely they're not going to have him this week, so it's a joke. Yeah, you're definitely going to be missing him. But this year, like I said,
not start him in the playoffs. That's what hurts.
That's what one thing I'll say about fantasy,
opportunity.
That's when decisions get like you need to make those nitty gritty decisions. Like benching a really good player for someone that's flashing the panning right now is the right move. Like people that bench,
it's so hard to do.
People that were benching like top players like Michael, like if Michael Thomas, if you remember, he wasn't healthy last year, but if people were benching Michael Thomas kind of players for Amon St. Brown late in the year last year, going into the playoffs, you were winning.
Boy moves.
But those are big boy moves that you need to make because like name brand people are bleeping people, right? They're bleeping your teams right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like name brand, like, oh, like the Kelseys, like dropping this, Mahomes, this. Those are going to happen. No one's saying to like start those, but next week our duds are going to be big people. Lamar Jackson's been dudding all year, regardless of injury, right? So I mean, there's going to be players. Like Mark Andrews has had 5 straight duds.
Tyler Huntley's going to help that.
Yes.
We've seen it historically.
Speaking of big name duds, Jacob, I'm looking at yours right now. That's a pretty big name.
This is where I want you guys' takes on 2 things. This is why I like duds, because it's like you can argue he's a dud, you can argue he's not a dud. I like it being in the middle of it.
It's an argumentative thing.
Austin Eckler, 10 for 35 on the ground, 5 catches for 67 on 6 targets. That's all right. If it's PPR, he's fine. But 9 of his 12 games this year, he's been under 50 rushing yards.
He's not getting the rushing yards. Yeah, that's just not happening.
8 of those 12 games, he's had over 5 catches, though. So there's his value. If it's PPR, draft him. If you're standard, don't even touch him. If you're half point, maybe.
I guess the tough part about that is like he was drafted so high, you expected both.
Yes,
you wanted both.
He has to do both.
His value was both
to justify where he was drafted.
When we talk about his touchdowns, regression. You can't score that many, and he had such a fantastic year this year. And even like we talk about PPR, he's a top 8 running back.
Especially that's a great matchup against the Raiders. Like he has to show out in that game. You can't get more than 35 rushing yards on the ground against the Raiders. Sorry to go after your Raiders, Taylor.
They're not good defensively, so it's fine.
All right, no, that does suck. These big names, and then I'm over here trying to. I got on my list, and it's not. Everyone knows who he is. I got Gus Edwards on the list, but granted, he's coming back from injury, right?
You're asking a lot from him. If you're relying heavily on Gus Edwards in your lineup, you're asking a lot from him.
I don't like this dud. You should have done Kamara.
No, hear me out. Yeah, see, it's like I'm kicking somebody who's already like, he's not even like on the radar.
That's
right?
not even his fault.
I'm
sorry.
Listen,
I'm like on the Gus bus for no reason right now.
The snap count I think is important, right? It's not his decision to come out on the field or not, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's his opportunity as he's on the field for 24% of the game. Some people are thinking he's coming back. Who's the back there? Right now, like it's Kenyon Drake got like 47% snaps.
Tyler Huntley.
He was bad, right? I don't know. I just don't know who you starting if you had to pick a running back. I don't know what you do there.
Nobody. Kyron Williams.
J.K. Dobbins coming back eventually, right?
Not
for fantasy playoffs. Don't trust him. Don't worry about it.
Okay, all right. So then of Drake and Gus Edwards, you're hoping one of them will provide something, right?
I don't like Drake at all. I'd rather just put Gus in and wait for a bad or good game.
But he's had games where he's been like doing everything though.
And then
but the Ravens love him.
No points.
They do love him.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I said this because 6 carries, 12 yards. That's bad. That's if my math is correct, 2 yards a carry.
Yes, that is
thank
correct.
you.
Yes.
I'm not really good at math.
I want to get you guys' take on this real quick.
Yeah.
I dropped Kadarius Toney in my home league.
Yeah.
I need the roster spot. I'm sorry.
You don't have to tell me. Don't even tell me who you picked up. I love it.
See, you're just opening yourself up for being liking the decision. Who did you drop for him?
I need the roster spot. All right. I got everyone else on bye, and I'm already in the playoffs. So Tony Jones Jr. because I need a starting running back.
I mean, you have to fill your roster, right?
Tell me why you would put Kadarius Toney in your playoff lineup. He doesn't have good matchups. They play the Broncos in championship week 17.
Are you starting Tony Jones?
No. So this week I might have to because I have Kenneth Walker. So.
Well then yes, you have to fill that void. You can't.
If you're not just I'm
holding on to Tony Jones. Yeah.
I would say if your bench spot, you'd rather hold Tony than Jones.
Yeah.
But
I agree with that.
It seems like there's a greater than 50% chance Kadarius Toney pulls a hamstring in the game you start him, and that could lose you a playoff game.
That's a correct number.
It's so volatile.
Yeah.
You heard me with the number earlier. So
I'm part of the conspiracy theory that Kadarius Toney doesn't actually have hamstrings.
What does he keep pulling then?
It's something else. It's hard tissue. I don't know what it is. It's something else.
Kleenex.
I don't know what that is. There's soft and then there's hard tissue, but no, I don't know what it is. He's too much of a liability. And honestly,
I'm sorry, Kadarius Toney, if you're listening. I had to do it.
Kadarius is like, no.
You got to be reliable. I'm sorry.
You're right.
That's kind of like a pep talk.
It's the time to be reliable. You need reliability right now. So
I still don't know where he slots in the offense. I mean, I know Mecole Hardman's out, but that was supposed to be his game, and he pulled a hamstring. So
what about the game before?
He had a game.
That was the game. That was the game before. It was before that, and then Schuster.
And I sat him like an idiot because he hadn't done anything yet.
And they were like, "Oh, there's gonna be no Schuster. There's gonna be no McCole. There's gonna be just Scantling in him. Oh my God!" And boom, he didn't even have a target until
anything against Jacksonville doesn't count. So that's just I'm just.
So let's pretend you have. Let's say Kadarius Toney's on somebody's fantasy football team right now. let's dive into some leftovers to see if we can fill that void. All right, there might be somebody on the waiver that the waivers have already run, right? But there could be somebody left.
You can go back and get Toney, right? Because think about that.
He'll be there.
Sorry, I'm like still harped on this. I'm sorry. Wednesday, I know I saw Homer.
He's like the
a little bit
glass
today,
half full, glass half empty. Are you picking up Kadarius Toney for the playoffs?
If DJ comes a little bit, if DJ plays this week, I wouldn't do Jones.
Yeah,
because like you already have Homer coming back for sure. So then, if it's
who do you start at running back? He's got to start somebody there, right?
Can you pick up Travis Homer?
No, all those guys got taken.
What league is this?
Crazy.
Is this our league?
12 team. No, it's my home league.
And they have Homer taken.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the leftovers. See if we can sift through some leftovers that might be able to fix this.
Give me some more.
I was playing my harp.
Yeah. Here we go.
The leftovers.
Okay, so we're reheating these players. Okay, they've obviously. I love the idea that Kadarius Toney's on.
No more
Kadarius Toney's on everybody's roster.
Leftovers, right? Yeah, we got some like.
Oh, dude, if you're still eating Thanksgiving leftovers, you got stomach poisoning. You got food poisoning. It's over for you. No, so we're gonna go through this. These are players that are minimally owned that probably may or may not have been picked up on waivers depending on how deep your league is. But if it's a relatively normal league, you can check them out.
I would say they're all open normally.
They could still be available that are just probably higher upside right now than whatever Kadarius Toney does. But I will admit that there is a little.
Okay.
He's too far owned. He doesn't even crack this list.
Bringing out my harp again. Disagree with that. I feel like he has the most potential that anybody has ever heard about.
But I feel like it's like
he has the 0 on the other side. Like 100 potential, like EA Sports Slider. Like 100
I feel like
potential, like 0
reliability.
His injury rating is 0.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's like gonna morph into. He's gonna fill like the Josh Gordon role in the future. He's gonna be the dude that like every time news pops up that he goes somewhere, you're like, this is it. And then next thing you know, you're gonna realize he's 35 years old and hasn't done anything.
And it's crazy because he's done nothing that Josh Gordon had like 8 straight 200-yard games.
He hasn't shown that dominance.
He's not even Josh Gordon.
But he could do it.
If he has a Josh Gordon career, that's a win.
100 potential.
That's an absolute win.
All right, let's go down these leftovers.
DJ Chark, back from his ankle. He had the fractured ankle last year, remember? So he was a little slow to start the year. Missed time again from the ankle. He came back 2 weeks ago, I think it was, on Thanksgiving. Didn't do much, but last week he had 90-something and a touchdown.
98, I thought?
98 and a touchdown. He's an integral part of that offense. That offense is exciting. Josh Reynolds, I think, has fallen out of favor as far as targets and all that stuff.
Injuries as well. Chark for me shouldn't be a leftover. Like I would eat that right now. I would slurp.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you listened to our podcast last week, we talked about Jameson Williams coming off the was it PUP list? Was he on the PUP list the entire season? Or I don't know what that is.
Yes,
So he's finally back. He made his debut. He got like a handful of snaps. Didn't really do anything. Ran a couple routes, but nothing really accomplished. But we mentioned it last week that said if you were waiting at that point for Jameson Williams, if DJ Chark's there, that's the guy. You're going to get
the targets. That's where they're going. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's that. All the hopes you had for Jameson Williams, you should have just scooped Chark up because he had the in.
I love Chark. I remember him in Jacksonville. He's an alpha receiver. Yeah. He's a guy that he doesn't walk into a receiver room and like, oh, I might be the 2 or 3. Like he could be the 1 in most places.
Him and Amon-Ra are just a good combo.
They're great together, and they're both good at intermediate. They both can go deep. Like the Chark is a good 2 to have, and it's just weird because he's on Detroit, so then he has so many injuries that he's not in people's minds.
Well, it's crazy because Detroit's actually in a playoff hunt too, so they kind of want to go with more veterans. Like the time for them to see what they have out of Jameson Williams is not yet. Not yet. So.
It would have been like because they were supposed to be like horrible or like at least at a point that they weren't competing. But now that they're competing, Chark should be getting those should be like celebratory snaps. Like, oh, Jameson, like good job. Like, dude, trust me, that kid's so talented.
Jameson's the victory cigar this season.
Yeah,
you just throw him out late game, let him run some routes.
Like he's a better prospect in most people's minds than Garrett Wilson, your dude. Okay. Yeah. Like, and I know it's going to take a year or two because like this ACL is going to take a lot for this.
He toured in January. Back. Odell toured in February, and we're not. People, I know Odell's getting courted more, but it's asking too much of Jameson Williams. He's not ready yet.
Like this season in general is going to be on top of being a rookie, on top of the injury, rookie learning the system and all that is already hard already. So like we saw that with Rashad Bateman last year when he had the core muscle surgery right in the middle of learning stuff during training camp during the preseason training camp this time. He was horrible last year. Elijah Moore picked up an injury in the last year too. He didn't take a while till at the end too. So people, rookie receivers that either don't do much in camp due to injury, due to not signing, whatever, you shouldn't expect much from them the entire season. The rookies that you see, like the Pierce and stuff, they're the ones that already solidified their role the week one, right? You're waiting for a rookie to figure itself out middle of the season is a bad way to go in fantasy.
So real quick, you mentioned Odell Beckham. I think we need to say something about him real quick because, in my opinion, based on what the news we're hearing and just how his trajectory is, his recovery, he's not a leftover. He's spoiled. Like, if he's on your team...
None of you guys are going to have to play him. All your leagues are done. All your leagues are done already. There's no point in picking Beckham.
So, look, I'm looking at Sleeper right now.
He's coming back to the regular playoffs.
43% rostered on Sleeper. Drop
Dynasty.
this man.
Dynasty
for DJ Chark.
No. This is not Dynasty. This is
regular?
redraft.
Oh,
And I've seen every league that I'm in has some dude who loves Odell.
Yep.
That has wasted
such
a
a big
roster
name,
spot the entire season.
And at 6-4,
Why?
we've been saying this. We didn't even say like, oh, there's a chance. We've been saying since the get that he's not going to play until the playoffs. So
It's over.
that's
Save
not even
yourself a roster
a
spot. That's
fantasy.
crazy.
Fantasy playoffs is almost done already for the real playoff start.
Yep.
So it's like, why are you, man? Dynasty is the only place because you're seeing reports that he's asking for a 2-year deal. So if you pick him up now in Dynasty, I get it. You're trying to get him for next year. I understand that.
That was a smart time to pick him up.
Yeah, exactly.
Earlier.
Same with like the Watsons. Like if you see him open in a Dynasty, scoop him because you have a quarterback for next couple years.
Right.
But like right now in a league, talking about like just Jameis Williams also should have been someone you should not have been drafting the whole year. But yeah, this kid as well. No,
At least with Jameson Williams, you could put him in your IR spot, right? He could squat there for the whole season.
This is a free agent that arguably is the best free agent, so I get the name. But like, there's already been multiple reports even before this courtship that he wasn't ready. Like the timeline, like you said already, there's not.
It's not like out of nowhere that like, oh, he had a setback and he's not ready. No, he hasn't been ready the whole time.
And Parsons even said that he's not going to be ready for 5 weeks from now, which is a more accurate timeline to it. So January, if you're playing fantasy, you're weird. Like that's a weird time to playing fantasy. I know they have those playoff fantasy leagues, so I'm not saying you're weird. Do them.
DFS in the playoffs, check them out.
No,
but
definitely.
Yeah.
But like if you're a fan, your home league's playing towards the Super Bowl.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know what's going on there.
No, so basically this is it. This is the message we're telling you right now. If he's on your roster, let him go. All right. You ever see the movie Titanic? At the end of Titanic, you got like the little like heart amulet. Just throw him over the edge. Let him sink into the ocean. It's over, man. No, it's no.
Your soundboard has to have that program.
No, I don't have it, unfortunately. But now I need it. I need it. But just help your roster out. Open up the spot and pick up somebody like our next guy on the leftovers. That's just saying. That's it. Kendall Hinton.
We already mentioned him. Former quarterback.
Oh, I thought it was Marcus. I was gonna get more excited, but I'm like, oh, Hinton.
No, I'm just anybody.
There's no wide
receivers
receivers there. There's no wide receivers there. He's gonna have targets.
Is guaranteed to get a catch next game. I don't know if Odell's guaranteed to get a route this year.
A route.
A route.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. That's a serious. Yeah. Like, you're gonna get Hinton. I put it on the books. Guaranteed catch this week. Beckham. Don't know what he's going to be doing route rise anytime soon.
He's going to catch a Cheeto in the mouth. That's what he's going to do this week.
He's not even working out for teams. So, anyways, we'll move on.
In the mouth.
I don't know. To OBJ, we buried him.
Is he that fast? Can he catch a Cheeto?
Oh, I don't know. No, Cheeto, not Cheetah. He's out there biting Cheetos. Okay, don't do that.
Yeah, so ACL ready for that yet? Come on.
Anyway, I don't want to hear about Odell the rest of the year. That's it. Fantasy wise, I'm done with him. It's over.
We did it.
AFFS show. We're done with him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's over.
What about this next guy, Ty Johnson? We mentioned him a little bit. The New York Jets mix for running backs. Michael Carter maybe coming back sometime soon, maybe for the playoffs. It was an ankle sprain 2 weeks ago. So he should be ready in a week or two. We'll see. But Ty Johnson for now is a pass catching back. So there's the opportunity for it.
He's a PPR guy.
Bam Knight's an angry runner. He's going to get all the opportunities on the ground. But
arguably what's crazy is Bam's getting the opportunities in the air too. Bam is just, that's what I even seen.
I don't know where he came from. I don't even know where he went to college. I don't know.
He's got an awesome name. He's got an awesome name. That's all you need. He's got a good football name.
Yeah. No, he was very good in school. I'm blanking on his college, so I don't want to just say college.
Well, it's also because that year started with Breece Hall and Michael Carter, so that was settled. And then you added James Robinson, so it's like no need to go any further on the depth chart. But James Robinson hasn't been doing it lately.
But that's more like that's a problem. NC State. I should have said that. I should have pressed myself. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Donovan. But no, he was awesome. He had so many usage in school. He's good everywhere. The thing is, I think this is bad on the Jets because you should have known you had him. This isn't we didn't know we had Zonovan Knight. You've had him. You had him when you got James Robinson. You've had him, the whole season. So that I saw reports that some of the coach staff's kind of like mad that they took a while to use him because I understand Breece Hall, but Michael Carter was playing all right, but there was chances to like mix him in. Carter didn't fully have that second thing. You were mixing in so many other different people. So like Ty Johnson, we were just talking about that. So it's good that he's there because like he's talented and he's going to get the reps all year. He's cheap and he's still open in some leagues, like you said, but arguably he shouldn't be.
Yeah, I think that's a really good leftover. I'm actually starting him in one of my leagues. I think he's startable. He's definitely startable.
He's not even just like sitting on the bench. He's maybe a flex. This is a kid that's getting so much usage.
He's getting involved. Yeah,
and the Jets,
especially with all these bye weeks though too. That the bye weeks this week are rough.
That's a key part.
It's rough this week.
And the Jets too, they're not a team that's like chasing a lot. I know like Waite's doing really well, but like they're winning games.
They love using the ground game.
They can run their offense correctly. Yeah.
Guys, I have to say something while we're on the topic of Jets running backs, and this is going to hurt. James Robinson,
your son,
your
prodigal son.
He shined too brightly. He shined too brightly, and then he burnt out.
Redraft leagues, I did it. I let him go, and I got to tell you, it hurt. It was like kicking your kid out of your house at 18. You're like, you're gone. All right, and when you're 18, you're gone. I've seen enough from him. He's 18, and I kicked him out. I kicked him off my team.
He didn't go to college. He just let him go.
No, I just let him go. He's gonna figure his life out. Maybe we'll have a reunion later in life, but right now,
mid-season running back trades are rough.
It's also it's the Achilles too. Like he wasn't going to be 100% this year. We thought he was going to have a delay to the year. I mean, the fact that he had a good start to the year, I think that was kind of like actually
so surprising.
It was fake. I just think like he wasn't really fully healthy.
Maybe had some good matchups.
No, I just remember like going through beginning of the season. We like the week 1 and 2. We like to see specifically how players are playing off their injury because that's the first time we see them, right? So like when we were watching Robinson, I remember like it was the holes that he had. I think he wasn't really like I remember like multiple comments from Doc. We were always asking like, oh, what does he look like? This. What does Etienne look like? So that was a very that was a running back room we wanted a lot of information on, right? There's a lot of medical questions on that, and Robinson just like I think it was more just like. He just had big holes and he was just seeing the field well. I think now that like it's tougher, people are getting locked in. It's everybody's playing, they've been playing 10 games or so. I just think he's not finding running room. I think he's not able to generate the running room. I think this is something he's going to have to, like, this is like an Anchors thing. Like you need to figure it out. Like your running style might've changed a little bit. You lost a step, you lost speed. So no, I'm sorry that your son has no place to. I don't know if you got him a place to live or you let him go.
No, he's living on the waivers. All right,
no,
he's on the
sure.
streets. Yeah.
No one took a pass at him.
No one's gonna pick him up, man. I don't know.
He's gonna be a free agent next year. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because the Jets, it was just a trade. So we'll see where he goes. Hopefully, I don't think he ever is gonna get where he was again, which is unfortunate. He's never gonna have this is my job. And honestly, I've seen since he was undrafted, every single year, the coaching staff, either it's Doug or Urban Meyer. They tried to replace him, which was weird because he had such a good year before.
He was so good.
Yeah, so good, even pass catching and stuff. But it always seemed like he's been trying to replace him. So it just seems like he needs to get his stuff together. Hopefully, he has a good landing spot next year that has a good offensive line, so he can run behind that. Because right now it seems like he has no burst.
Yeah. Let's do one more leftover before we move on to shootout and drought.
All right, I got C. Okongwo because I'm not trying to butcher his first name. Tight end for the Shigozim. I don't know. I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to go with that.
Whatever you said. Call him Bulldozer because every time I see him catch the ball, he runs over 8 people.
Where did he come from? He came out of nowhere. It was like Austin Hooper was catching stuff, and then all of a sudden he showed up in that offense, and he's been incredible.
Well, he's always been there. He's a big body, but he wasn't ever a good blocking tight end. So when you're a big body and you're not a good blocking tight end,
and
then
your running back is Derrick Henry, it's tough to see the field.
Yeah. So you better catch the ball well and use your body effectively, which he has this year. So he went to school at Maryland, 23-year-old, very good. He led the team in receiving last week. There's a chance there's no Burks this week too. So as a flyer standpoint, I think he's a key part.
Tight ends are so gross this year.
Gross, and Tannehill can't throw anything but a tight end, I would say. Yeah. So, I mean,
that's a specialty.
It's worth a shot, especially in Dynasty. I was happy to scoop him up in Dynasty. He wasn't on a team. He kind of just burst onto the scene here.
He's only had 15 catches this year. I mean, he wasn't expected to do a lot. He's not even expected to do a lot next year, I would say, but because he's not a guy that can run a full game as the receiving tight end. But I mean, he's averaging 18.3 yards catch, which is pretty decent for a tight end. 275. He's got the one 1 touchdown, but I mean, you're getting 68, 4 catches, at least 35 from him. Like you said, it's such a volatile, gross environment for tight ends. He's someone that might slide a little bit better this week.
Just to cover all categories, you mentioned Brock Purdy to me before the show, so
yes,
I want to bring him up.
He's
not bad.
No, he's all right.
He's got the dual threat. He's a little more mobile than
if you're struggling for a quarterback,
you'd expect. But I'd say 100% Tyler Huntley. But if he definitely got scooped up already. So
I don't know.
I don't know.
Good or not, guys.
Just watch him.
I watched him, but the thing is, though, it's like you watch baseball, Jacob.
Yeah.
Second, third lineup. Now you got game film on him. The game film they had on Brock Purdy at Iowa State is much different now. So once you got game speed, NFL footage of this kid, things are going to be different next week.
He was Mr. Relevant for a reason. You're saying?
Yeah. No, I mean, I know me and Justin, we do a lot of dynasty leagues. I have him actually in a couple dynasty because he was my 7th rounder. I was like, oh, mobile quarterback. Everybody loves those,
right?
Yeah.
And he's been in the team for 2 years now, I'd say. So he will figure it out. But
I got a question.
They'll lean on the run game a little bit. What?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off there. That's my bad. Brock Purdy or Davis Mills this week?
Oh, Brock Purdy.
Purdy?
I guess the Bucks defense, that might be tough.
What I like,
Purdy will get closer to the end zone, I think.
Davis Mills is playing the Cowboys, so
yeah, they're both they're both playing really good defenses. The one thing about Mills, I like that he sat on the bench. And I like how they can come back.
Motivated. He's gonna come back and throw for 220 yards instead of 200.
Yeah, even Lovie Smith said it was good for him to be on the bench.
Boost.
So no, I get it. The one thing I'll say about Davis Mills, it doesn't look like he's gonna have Brandon Cooks at all.
Yeah,
Brandon Cooks has looked like he's said no to this team and season this year.
He's done. That makes sense.
What's that? That's 2 years in a row. Somebody just gave up on the Texans. That's really weird. Why is that happening?
Deshaun said it was a business decision.
Oh, okay. right.
And we just something out of his mouth.
No, this isn't. It's not. That's the one thing that's going against Mills on that question. Mills was only decent last year because he had Cooks at prime form. Cooks has already been down this year already, so you've seen that. The one thing I will say that I don't care who the quarterback is. If you have Nico Collins, he's very good, and he's going to continue to get better and better. And he's a big body. He can run. He's run well. There's not much there. And at least all these quarterbacks that are throwing to them, they're able to get them the ball. There's another one that you say, oh, I play like Malik Willis. Malik Willis can't get you the ball. At least Kyle Allen can get you the ball.
Right.
They have game managers. There's a lot of game managers, a lot of crappy game managers.
They are. They're managing the game. They're managing to lose the game.
Yes.
They're
getting a number 1 pick.
They're managing their way out of my fantasy lineup because don't even touch them.
Yeah. Dan Pierce should be the only Texan on your team. And him has had some really gruesome couple games.
Okay, so wait,
go on.
Are you good?
Yeah,
I was going to take us to the next week, man.
Are you going to keep going?
Are you done? Wrap it up.
We could stay on Davis Mills podcast, but I think everyone's asleep already.
No, that's I believe that's Pro Football Doc's podcast. Right? His son loves him.
That's his
right?
son's
His son's
name.
Yeah. Let's go to shootouts or droughts, and I know it's been 3-4 weeks, right? We've been talking about an intro for this, right? But playoffs are almost here. I was like, I gotta do something. All right, I think it's time.
You're already,
so now
it's laying the groundwork for disappointment.
Well, see now I don't want to spoil it. We sent out $1 million like we normally do when we get intros. We sent out, put it in the mail, unaddressed. We just left it. The mail takes it. And then we get an email shortly after
to the intro factory
with an intro to whatever. Yeah, from the intro factory. I don't know. It's weird. This is it. We got it for shootout and drought. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I fell asleep for a second. I had no idea what you were talking about until afterwards I realized you were talking about your intro.
We got the intro to shootouts or droughts. Here we go. All right.
It's some shootouts and droughts.
There it is, baby. We made it. That's it.
The best one.
Is it? It's pretty good, right? It feels right.
I want to know how many takes it took for you to get in that character, the voice.
Yeah, no, that was wait, it wasn't me. Sorry. We're going to keep this illusion alive.
Sarsaparilla?
Sarsaparilla.
Keep the mask on. Keep the mask on.
Yeah, it wasn't me. But all right, let's get into these matchups. Shootouts or droughts.
I just want to say that was worth the wait. But we're going.
Thanks.
Vikings Lions is tied with Dolphins Chargers as the highest point total projection for the week, according to FanDuel Sportsbook.
Lions every week. We've noticed that, obviously.
Is DeAndre Swift back? Can you trust him?
I think you have to now.
I would put him up, pop him in. You get a touchdown. That's it.
What are you going to lose?
Pop him in.
Pop him in. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think also I was just looking too. The Lions, they have really good matchups for their offense the next couple games before the season ends. So I think if you have a team that has Williams and Swift, it's not about taking one out. You just got to put both in because Williams is guaranteed to get a touchdown. Probably he's just like you said, his usage it looks like is going down. Right on receiving is always going to be Swift's game.
That offense is on fire too, so that helps both running backs. That might sustain two of them, but remains to be seen.
If they had a little bit of defense. It's like honestly, Lions
their
offense,
defense has actually been decent the past couple weeks.
The Detroit Broncos would be the best team in the league.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Sorry,
you pair the Lions offense with the Broncos defense.
No,
I want to see the other version. I want to see the other version.
Yeah,
oh, no, you don't.
That'd be an 0-19 team. And there's only 18 games, right?
All right, Dolphins Chargers. Waddle's the big name to watch for that one, but Mike Williams could also be back. 2 weeks ago was the re-aggravation of the ankle injury that kept him out, high ankle sprain. So hopefully this week he can be back. We'll see how that affects the offense. Keenan Allen, obviously we mentioned Austin Eckler earlier. Gerald Everett's just holding on to fantasy relevance because tight ends are just gross.
I don't know what the groin is or whatever, but like the last couple of weeks he's been unstartable. And the first 5 to 8 games of the year, he was like a Njoku. If you had him or Everett, you were like, wow, thank you for waiting 10 rounds for a tight end. I'm fine, But
no, exactly.
Now it's like he's unstartable, and it gets a little bit more convoluted.
Started him last week over Dulcich, which Dulcich has been like hot or cold, but he's been doing all right, right? And and when I saw Dulcich play, I was upset that I had Everett in my lineup because it happened before, and I was like, dang, he actually had a pretty decent game.
Right.
Everett got within 1 point. He was all right this week, serviceable for a tight end.
He's sustainable, yeah.
If your tight end can get you double-digit fantasy points, let it go, man. You're all right. Sure. You did okay.
That's a good week for you. Yeah,
he's not going to disappoint you too many weeks. So
yeah,
that's all we're looking for in the tight end landscape these days.
That's so sad. That's so sad.
Browns Bengals. Deshaun Watson's second game. Obviously, the first week was a dud. I don't think you can expect a lot from him in the next 2-3 weeks. Season, maybe. I'm giving him a benefit of the doubt and say week 4 he might be all right.
The one key thing that Doc says that I think we all should know and think in our head, and if we think he can be good, it's just us wanting to put him in our fantasy lineup. You can't be good at sitting out 2 years. Any sport.
It's not just plug and play. There's different guys there.
If this was any fantasy rugby show, I would tell you 2 years out of the game, you can't come back and be fantasy relevant.
Yeah, Tebow, stop trying to come back, dude. It's over.
Man, I'm not even trying to go after anybody. No, I'm just saying, it's not a reason. It's not. We're asking too much. We were looking at his prop. I'm looking at the board right now. We had it from last week. I had it as a sick pick. Is 237 yards. You got 4 or 5 quarterbacks that have been playing for weeks in a row that don't have props that high. Arguably, they're definitely less talented on paper. But Watson hasn't played in 2 years. He's as talented as the bad quarterbacks in this league currently.
Yeah.
Brissett would have a better game. Brissett's been playing with Cooper and Peoples-Jones, sustaining both for all year. So it was arguably too much to ask for, and I don't think he can do it this year. Next year, I wouldn't tell you not to draft him. They have a pretty good offense. They have one of the best offensive lines in the league. So yeah, next year, good for you. Maybe Watson does good, maybe not. But this year, I don't think he belongs in a lineup at all.
I thought it was funny. Post game,
a fantasy lineup, but he can play football. Sorry, yes.
Post game, the Browns reporters or whoever was at the game, there was a lot of videos surfacing of people just going up to the wide receivers or any pass catcher on the offense and being like, "So, how did it go for you?" They're trying to bait him into something.
Yeah. It's come on.
Say you'd rather have Brissett.
Yeah,
just do it. Here, say it.
Is he gonna whip out a massage chair out of his back pocket? Oh, hey, we're talk about this. No, it's just
hey, what does this mean to you? It's
your
really
first
weird.
game with a different quarterback. That's it. Make it as simple as that.
It's definitely.
But on him though, fantasy wise, it sucks for the people that had Cooper and Peoples-Jones because I think they did get drafted lower than Noah.
Yeah.
For me personally, Peoples-Jones has sustained me so well. He became a guy that I thought maybe can go on the bench, maybe a flex spot everyone wants. It's a guy that's automatically in the starting lineup every week. He had that punt return touchdown, but other than that, wasn't really that good.
Might be hurting Chubb owners too because they're just not moving the ball. So
and they're going to think they want to pass more too instead of running the ball 80 times with Chubb, which is the most effective strategy.
For the Bengals, real quick, Jamar Chase was a lot more involved than initially expected, so that's great to see. He should be fine off the hip.
He ran 92% of his routes, so he's ready to go.
That means they waited the right amount of time to get him back. We're cautious with him, so no ill effects for the fantasy playoffs, anything like that.
So crazy because he was on crutches a week ago. Yeah. So even from our 6 score, we were stint on his production, but wow, he's fine.
He's not human. It's all right. Last game I have is Texans Cowboys, so that tells you it's not a good scoring week in the NFL. if that's the fourth game, but that's mostly Cowboys. So start all
yeah,
your
it's like
Cowboys.
it's definitely
Don't worry.
heavy leaning on the Cowboys. Start your Cowboys.
40 a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's already enough there. Yeah.
Texans
I
are
got for you.
they're gonna get rolled. That's so bad. Yeah, Texans are gonna get rolled.
Davis Mills garbage time yards. Look for it.
And then you
I don't even know if he'll get that. I don't
The
know.
one thing about you take the under on his because you should secretly think Kyle Allen comes in the middle of the game.
It's definitely possible.
Ooh.
But all right, so shootouts and droughts are done. I have
to.
I have to play this one more time on the way out, right? Like just to wrap the segment up.
Yeah.
'Cause I didn't. Oh, I mean, I didn't work on it. But
You have
I mean,
also
whoever
the
worked
ability-
on this, a lot of
Whoever
time,
gave
you
$1 million
know.
in the envelope. They earned their money, you know.
So we got to play it like I think at least 14 more times. No, here it is. Shootouts and droughts.
It's some shootouts and droughts.
There's a lot going on there. A lot going on in that one. I try to
like
set the
that one,
scene. That's definitely it. But that's it. That's our week 14 is coming up, and it's crazy to me that we're already here to playoff time, and I'm
Congrats to
excited
everyone
because
who's positioned well, you know.
I don't have a league that
job.
I'm in where I'm facing elimination. Like I'm actually making the playoffs. I think I'm in 4 leags. I'm not like Taylor.
No,
I don't know how.
Taylor,
I don't
like
want to
a-
ask
like
how
a-
many leagues
yeah.
you're in right now.
Yeah,
But,
you don't want to know.
It's too many. Yeah.
but 4 and I'm 4 for 4. I'll take it. I'm excited about
Shoot a
that.
good percentage if you're
Actually,
in over 4 leagues. Like
there's
4
like-
is the max.
Last week I was going through like some of my stuff and I like realized that there's a platform that I don't usually use that has a league that I haven't checked all year long. I just
You're
forgot
poor.
I did that. I was like, oh, wow.
Poor players are like,
Yeah.
somebody please. I want
Somebody-
to rest. Put me on the bench.
Like if
no.
they
the
would-
lineup the whole
if they would have like gave
I've
my
been
team
on
to
IR
someone
since
else,
week
I would
2.
have not known. I would have not known. So they were like, oh, this dude has to sign up for 4 weeks. Like if by week 5 they like already like did another guy,
Yeah, kick that
I would
dude
have.
out.
I would not
Yeah.
know.
You're the guy. Here, how about this? Right now, because you won't remember at the beginning of next year, you'll be too hyped about fantasy football.
Yeah.
Right now, jot the names of these leagues down, okay? And in the
Okay.
off season,
The ones that you did check all
disappear
year.
from those leagues. All right.
2 years
Whittle
ago,
it down.
I had a spreadsheet. This year I didn't do one. That was an error.
Okay,
So,
that's the
yeah.
problem. That's the
Yeah.
problem. But all right,
When you
all right.
learn, I like it.
So this was fun. Again, we go live every Wednesday, which is going to be a thing we're going to be doing a little more in the future. So Wednesday we record, and if you're listening to this, whatever time you're listening, we appreciate you listening. But on our Facebook page, I believe our Facebook page is Pro Football Docs still. So if you want to go on Facebook, click it there. Tell your grandmother to like us. On Twitter at SixScore, you can follow us there, and on our YouTube channel, you'll be able to watch this back, the full video. As well. That's Sports Injury Central. So give us a sub there, and I guess that's it. We're gonna get out of here. And
Sign up for the newsletter.
oh yeah, we got okay. Yeah, that's a thing we got to tell people. Yes, Sports Injury Central has a newsletter now. It's completely free. It's all of our best content at sixscore.com, fed right to your inbox. You get it. We serve it up for you, and it's literally right there. You don't have to. I don't know. It's just you don't have to think. It just scrolls, looks,
open it,
clicks.
That's why I
Read,
like it.
yeah.
Just put it right in
Yeah.
my face.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's everybody would just wants it right in their face, and we're doing that for you. Sports Injury Central.
How nice of you. Yeah.
Yes, very nice. All right, so let's wrap it up, and we'll catch you guys next week then. This is how we wrap it up. I play the music, and then we just sit here. I can't not talk.
Just be
I
quiet.
can't. I can't be.
I don't think
Okay,
there's been one like outro he hasn't talked to all year.
He literally like explains it. He's like, hey,
I have to.
this is
All
the
right,
one I
Brad.
put
Now
my
see
blood-
this is the part when I have to close it. So I have to go. So see you guys later. Bye.